Hi there, it's Sally from Rickety Snippets here, and today I'm going to create another double page spread in my Dragon Junk Journal. So I've chosen lots of colourful dragony things from the kit for this week's one, and in particular I really want to kind of highlight these 3 tags, because I think they're rather beautiful and could be on display on a page. So I'm going to create a kind of woven display system for this, and we'll see how that goes. So as usual, I'm using the gold edition Dragon Junk Journal kit from the Rickety Snippet shop, and I'll stick a link to that below if you want to follow along using the same kit. So put those to one side, and so we have all the things that we've done in the past here, so do go back and look at those if you want to. Last week we made a kind of wallet for a notepad, so a kind of hidden notepad for your secrets. So if you want to watch that, then I'll stick a link to that on the screen, and you can go and watch that next. Okay, so I think I decided on these 2 pages for the spread, so quite neutral pages, and I'm going to line these 3 up. I think I'm going to stack them kind of like that. And create this woven display system for them. So let's put that there. Okay, so I was going to use a bit of this paper, which is in the kit, and I'm going to cut it into around about a centimetre, perhaps a little bit more than a centimetre wide strips. So I'm just going to put it on the cutter. And then I'm going to put a pencil mark. I've decided how I think that looks like it's about a centimetre to make it a little bit wider. And then I'm going to put a pencil mark here so that I can continue to line my paper up against that. And then all my pieces would be roughly the same size. So that. And I'm going to move this over, line it up against that point. Oop. There we are. So I have 3 pieces, and then I'm just going to fold over the ends of each one. So about a little bit less than a centimetre, I guess. So it could be a centimetre square, like that. And then I need to measure the page. So just take those off. And so I want to fold it about there. Let's see if I just flatten that, if that's right. No, a bit too high. Yeah, about there. Okay, so these are about the same size as or length as the page when folded. And then I'm just going to cut that bit off because we don't need all that on the end. And do the same so that all of them are the same length. And then I'm just going to ink a little bit on the ends or on all of the ends. There we are. So that'll just stop it being very white. If we can see that from the other side, you shouldn't be able to see much really. But and then I'm also going to ink along all of the edges. There we are. So we've now got 3 pieces, the same length when they're folded, and inked around the edges and on the reverse, just on the kind of tab bits. Okay, so next, I'm going to stick them in the book. So for this, I'll just grab one of these tags so that I can see where we want to place these. So I want 3 kind of fairly well spaced, like that, making sure they fit on the page as well. Okay, so one in the middle, kind of like that, I think. So I'm just going to grab some glue, and then I'm putting a little bit of glue on that tab, and then sticking it in place. Like that. So just sticking it to the page underneath. You don't need that now. Let's take that away. So I want the other one to be kind of equal distance from there to there. So glue on that one. Right. And then this one will sit in the middle. And then I'm going to turn that around and stick these other sides down as well. So once they're dried, I'm going to decide where I want these to sit. So I'm going to have this one and this one, top and bottom, and that one in the middle, I think. And I'm going to weave those in. So I think it'd be better if this one and this one were held by this middle bit. So that one's going to just sit like that. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue just right in the center of this one. Stick that down. And then I'm going to weave in the bottom one in the same way. So that one's just going to sit under there. And then this one is going to sit under these ones here. That one over the top of the middle one. And then under there again. So we're kind of basket weaving them in like that. And they'll all just sit and kind of hold each other in place. And then I'm going to decorate these bits. So I've got some fussy cats. So arrange those on there. So little flower. Vertical number there. Quite nice. Be a round. Did I have had another flower somewhere? So I've got a couple. Yeah, blue one with this blue dragon. And let's have a look. Yeah, I prefer that way round. I could do with something else with it. So I'm going to rip out something from here. This is just one of the collage sheets. It's that little circle. Can I rip that without wrecking the whole thing? Let's see. Could cut it out, but I think it gives it a little bit of extra interest, a bit of texture if you rip it, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, that looks all right. I'm just going to put, so some of these haven't got ink on them, so I'm going to put some ink on these. So I chose for these to be quite plain because these are so colourful. But I'm wondering if they might look quite nice with a bit of stamping on some of them. So I might take these out again. It's not going to cause too much trouble. And I put a bit of paper underneath. I can just stamp. So I'm going to stamp this lower bit think that could be quite, oh yes, because I've stuck it down, haven't I? Okay. Yeah. And then, so I'm just going to grab a little kind of spindly plant, so nothing too heavy. And I'll just put some black ink on that. And then, let's see how that is. That goes there. Maybe I've got another flower or plant stamp, so I might do that on that one. Okay. I want to do more now. I love stamping. Don't want to overdo it. Okay, so I'll just weave these back in. So that. Probably would have made it more stable if these two had them like this one, so it's held both sides, but it would go over their kind of over their heads. I don't think that would look so great, but anyway, it's versatile. And then right, so I'm going to stick these on now. You're only gluing up on the center strip so that it doesn't move. Oh, having said that, not concentrating. Right, just on the center. There we are. So what do you think? Perhaps this is a bit bold, stamping. Anyway, a bit different, isn't it? Okay, and so on this page, I'm going to make some kind of pockety tuck spots. So I'm going to use this page. Let's move that out of the way for a bit. So this page, then I just kind of want a section of it. So I decide which bit I take out. Because that other page is quite colourful. I think I'll use this middle section. So I'm going to grab the cutting mat again. And then put it here. Let's just line it up with the page. So I don't want it the full width of the page. Just want it kind of perhaps about here. Like that, so just a strip. So like that. I might take a little bit off of the bottom here. Yeah, so there. So that looks about right. Maybe still a little bit long. A little bit more off. Yeah, great. Okay. And then, so I need a scalpel or a craft knife for the next bit. Got my rather beaten up craft knife here. And then I'm just going to cut. So this has got a handy line here, so I can cut along that line. But not right up to the edges. So I'm just making a pocket here. So I'm going to, it still work. Cutting along that line. And just leaving a little bit either side. So you can see that there's a little slit in there. And then I want to cover the back of this. So just with some paper, so that kind of scrap paper that we were using before, I'm just going to measure it, mark it. Right, that's very straight. Something's not straight, so there's the paper. There we are. So little mark there, little mark there. Or I might just draw over it actually. So it's going to be as scrappy as you like, this piece of paper, because we won't see it. And I'll cut it just the other side of that line, because I want it to be just slightly smaller than the front piece. That. And then I'm going to get the glue, and I'm just going to put a line of glue around the edge, so down both sides and then along the bottom, so nothing at the top. Whoop. So I'll just stick that piece of paper over the top like that. And then I'm going to put some glue on, so that's our pocket. I want glue on this side, so along here, here and here. So now we're going to make sure that all the glue is just on that backing piece of paper. Or at the top anyway, along the side and the bottom, it doesn't matter. That's it. And I'm going to stick that to the page. And while that's drying, I'm going to make a envelope to go in that pocket, in one of those pockets, with this piece of paper, which has ended up on the floor, so everything seems to have done today. And I need to just check how wide I want it. So I want it to begin with to be as wide as this pocket, maybe a little bit wider. Let's make it there. So I'll cut that. And then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to score along the edges. So I'm going to score probably about a bit less than 1 centimetre probably. Excuse me. There. And let me just check actually. So what we want is for it's going to fit in that pocket. So we want to make sure that it's not going to be too wide. So yeah, probably about 1 centimetre either side. So that one, I'm going to make this one a little bit wider. Be sure it's going to go in there. Score along. So this doesn't matter actually, so don't worry too much if this isn't exactly spot on, as long as the pocket is going to be the right size to go inside the other pocket. So I'm just folding those in and then out again. And then at the top, so I'm going to decide which end I want for the top. So this is a bit more colourful. So I'm going to fold that over. So I'm folding over probably about 1 inch. So these are 1 inch square on my cutting mat. So first fold is about 1 inch. And then the second one, that's straight. Yes. The second one, I'm going to make a fold that's less than 1 inch. So you've got a little bit of an overhang there. Like that. Okay, so you've got that and that. And then with that in place, I'm going to fold this in half so that it goes almost up into the crease there, but no lower than where this piece of paper ends. So you want it over kind of halfway probably, over that bit of overhang there. Make sure it's all lined up. I'm going to fold it there. So I'll just go over all those folds with my bone folder. There we go. Right, one last double check that it's going to go fit on the page. So it's got to go in that pocket. Yeah, that's fine. Right, so I'm going to open it up again, and then I'm going to cut off some of this edge because this is going to be a tab which we're going to stick down. So I'm actually going to cut all the way along this line. To there, and then when I get to there, I'm going to just cut at a slant like that, and then cut that there as well. So then you've got a tab at that end. So I'm cutting from the edge, from the end. We've got all these folds in it. So the very end, other end, we're just going to leave the tab. So I'll do it the other way up for this one. And cut a slant, and then just along that line, straight as you can get it, up to the top. And then I'm going to put some glue on this bit. Might need a bit more of a trim. Right, so glue, so over that first little bit and over that inch wide fold there. Stick that down. And then I'm going to grab the corner rounder. So I'm going to have a really big, use the big one, make a nice round corner on that. Like that. That's going to be a flap. Like that. And then these two, you just put some glue on both the tabs, right along the edge there. And then stick that down. So there are lots of envelopes actually in the kit. I think it's good to make them from scratch so that you can see how it's done, and also you can use any papers you like then to make them. Let me just trim that along there. We are, so nice bold envelope. I'm going to put that in a minute actually. Oh, it's moving about. So with this, so we've got a space in the side here now that we can put something in. Just stop that further that way maybe. And then I've got some bits to put in the little pocket. Some nice crystal, magical crystal in there, and some little tags go in there too. And then, so we've got that one in the side, and then our big pocket, or our envelope pocket, can sit on the top here with the flap overhanging like that. And then what we need is something to keep that shut. So I'm going to use this little round, this butterfly on it. And I'm just going to stick it right at the bottom. A bit free and easy with the glue today. Like that. Ooh, yeah, a bit too much. and then hold that in place while it dries a bit. So take that back out. It's not putting too much pressure on it. And down here, I thought I'd put a fussy cut on there, which again has landed on the floor. So this big dragon fussy cut. Right. Yeah. So then we have envelope comes out, and when you put it back in, you can put it under that flap or under the round, which keep it shut, and then it all kind of works together as one with lots of pockets. Okay, so this page, I think I'm going to go back and I'm just going to put a bit more glue under some of these. Oh, that one's not threaded properly, is it? So that it keeps them in place a little bit better. So I'm just going to put a bit more glue under here. I'll just give it less space to roam about. And do the same here. It might still be a bit much. Bit much room, bit too much room. There we are. So it might need some adjusting over time, and then I might also need to do these. I think that one's just a bit more secure under there. Let's see. Yeah, no, that's better. I'm not moving about so much now. So there we are. Another spread. So I hope you have fun with this. Hope you'll try a little bit of basket weaving with your tags or anything else you want to kind of display. And I will be back next week with another 2-page spread. I think I might use more stamps next week, some of the ink stamps again. So have fun with it and have a good week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.